They'll go out once, and then when they go out, the race will start. And it is go! Good one, Schumacher. Schumacher's leading up to the chicane. Mika Häkkinen is already ahead of Barrichello. Now this is the crunch point. Are they all going to get through here? Schumacher leads. Häkkinen is in second place. Villeneuve. David Coulthard has come up into third place, and Rubens Barrichello is already down to fifth. And there's one of the Jaguars running wide, has obliterated the polystyrene blocks, rejoins last, and Michael Schumacher is exactly where he wants to be and needs to be, and it's Eddie Irvine in the Jaguar who is the first retirement. And wow, that's the two Jordans and a that's Trulli and Frentzen.
And there's many cars piling in at the back. Terrible, terrible accident there. And of course the red flag will have to come out. I can't see that they can handle that one under the safety car. There look to be far too many cars involved in that. Two Jordans appeared to get together and then come into the back of the third and fourth place runners. Safety car is deployed. I'll be amazed.
And it's David Coulthard out there, so that's the end of his race.
Yeah, but Coulthard, if they don't stop, but the arrows flew over the top of Coulthard's car. There's an arrows behind that green truck, upside down, and then Barrichello's car also in there too. And Johnny Herbert is cruising back to the pits, minus the back of his car. One wheel missing on Herbert's car. So now, look, they're getting ready to make a change. There won't be for Barrichello's car because he's stuck in the gravel trap. And have they got the driver out of the arrows? That's Irvine from the first chicane. But the second chicane accident, there's the Johnny Herbert picture, minus the rear wing. I'm amazed they can handle that under the safety car. I thought they really would have to red flag that one, but quite clearly, you can see Coulthard's out of the car. Both Jordan drivers, Barrichello, all, unless they throw the red now, all of those guys are out of the race, and they clearly have got that Arrows driver out of the car. And when you see a replay of that, Murray, that Arrows was flying through the air.
Indeed it was, and there is one of the shattered Jordans. But out behind the safety car at the moment with David Coulthard running in the hope that the race will be stopped and he will be able to get into the spare McLaren. You can see the Arrows and the Ferrari out there. In comes one, it's Ricardo Zonta, but the safety car is still out with Michael Schumacher ahead of Mika Häkkinen. Jacques Villeneuve has started fourth up into third place. Rubens Barrichello is perfectly okay, so is David Coulthard, so is Eddie Irvine. So that is very good news. We wait to hear about Hans Harold Frentzen and Jarno Trulli, but that effectively, I fear, destroys David Coulthard's hopes of the World Championship this year.
That's Della Rosa that's upside down there, and I think I only got a glimpse of it, but I think it was the two Arrows, the two Jordans getting together with Barrichello. Coulthard was in front of them. Barrichello had a poor start, backed up Villeneuve and backed up the two Jordans down the right-hand side of the grid. And look, they were all very well behaved in the first corner because actually Barrichello's bad start, and it was at the back end that there was carnage with Eddie Irvine just failing, and a lot of cars scampering there, look, across the grass. Now that Arrows is way down the field. Now here we go, look, it's Barrichello squeezes the two Jordans together, who then run into Coulthard. Now watch closely, in the dust you will see an Arrows who was way down the field end up flashing through the air. It's amazing it hasn't hit Coulthard. Look, there it goes. It's absolutely amazing it hasn't hit Coulthard on the head.
And here we are with Jacques Villeneuve. Now look at the carnage in front of him as the BAR goes over. Now he's probably come into the pits too. And look at the wheels bouncing everywhere. There's debris everywhere. But now we are on the second lap. I haven't seen the safety car go past because, like you, I've been looking at the pictures. But here is Michael Schumacher in the Ferrari, turning into the Roja, followed by Mika Häkkinen. Long gap. Look at those wheels flying everywhere. This is a replay, and they're all rolling. That's the Arrows.
Right. Oh, wow, that landed on top of Barrichello and Coulthard. Della Rosa ran into the back of Johnny Herbert. They got together at the back of the field, having a separate accident that ended up on top of the first accident, and now they're obviously attending to somebody down there.
If it's anybody, it's going to be Della Rosa. I'm just wondering whether it's the stretcher that I see with the red markings, or whether it's a marshal.
Now here we go for a practice start. The Michael Schumacher got away. Oh, no, that was the... They're showing the wrong practice start there. That was the warm-up lap. Here we go with the start proper. And look, Barrichello away very, very slowly, which penned up the right-hand side of the grid and left Coulthard a clear run. And, of course, now the front end of the grid are pretty well spread out, so not the drama we expected. There's Irvine getting together with a Prost and a Benetton. Cars scampering across the green apron on the inside. And later on now, somehow, one of those De La Rosa's arrows is going to run into the back of Johnny Herbert and collect up the first accident. So now, the fact that they've now completed 2 laps, Murray, means if they red flag the race, which they will not do now, it would be a 2-part race. It's only if they red flag the race before the end of the second lap is it a complete reset and a restart. So all of those people, all of the drivers you saw walking around at the first chicane are out of the race.
Right, so now this is the situation on lap 3 out of 53 as the stricken Ferrari of Rubens Barrichello is craned off the circuit. Michael Schumacher, there he is ahead of Mika Hakkinen. A restart is in effect going to be a rolling one. Jacques Villeneuve is 3rd. Ralf Schumacher has come up from 7th on the grid to 4th in the race in the Williams BMW. Giancarlo Fisichella is up into 5th position, and I fear that that is De La Rosa. I don't know, let me emphasise, but if it's anybody, it's likely to be Pedro de la Rosa, and he's being attended to by Professor Sid Watkins, who is the FIA's resident doctor.
Is that a marshal?
Well, I was wondering if it was a marshal earlier on, because it looks as though he's in the orange overalls.